One of the things I love the most about playing Sorare is not only am I the manager, I pick the team, I pick the players every week, decide the captain, what division are we going to go for, but I'm also the head scout, you know, I'm the talent ID, I look at the market, I watch world football and I think who is the up and coming talents, who are the boss players that I want to have in my team. And I'm also the director of football. I finance the club, I decide how ambitious we're going to be, what kind of cards we're going to bring in, who am I going to sell, who am I going to buy, who am I going to trade. And when we do these trading videos every Monday, it's really hard to really lay out on camera those three different thought processes, those three different dimensions that we all have in every one of our Sorare clubs. But with all this stuff that's been going on in the Sorare market over the last week or two, I think we've got a great opportunity to kind of put all those thought processes out there to understand a bit better what's going on in the market at the moment and what kind of action you may want or not want to take. At any point in the video today, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We hit 5,000 subscribers last week, guys. A massive thank you to all the Sorare scouts and managers from around the world that support the channel and made that possible. I fucking love yous. Thank you very much for all the support. It really does mean the world to me. Our goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers as quick as humanly possible. And please do like the video. It just means we'll be found by more people and we can hit that goal sooner rather than later. Don't forget to share, retweet, comment down below, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble and let's get stuck into it. There's a couple of things to understand as the kind of subtext to the video in terms of what's been going on over the last week. I'm not going to be able to bring everything into the conversation, of course. If there's something very important you think I've missed or overlooked, please do drop it in the comment section down below. I'd love to add everything into the conversation here. But for the most part, over the last month or so, we've seen Ethereum go for around £1,000 for one coin, up to around 12, 13, just about touching £1,400 for one Ethereum. A week or two ago. A week or two ago, we signed the Premier League on Sorare, and we've had tons and tons and tons of auctions at all scarcities across the board. And we've also seen massive market maker accounts like Pavel Trader really change up their playbook, their strategy and their tactics and how they operate within the market. So we've had three core kind of parts of the market all move in very contrasting and independent ways. Ethereum, the market currency, Sorare, the market producer, and then a lot of the secondary market makers. Now, when you put into the middle of that vortex a massive sway of new users coming on to play with the common cards and start to learn how to play with some limiteds and the semi-pro and the cap 270 divisions, it can be really confusing, probably quite scary, and definitely something to take note of. Now, if you watched the cap 220 video on the channel, or maybe you watched one of the beginner tutorials when you opened up your Sorare account, or if you've watched the Road to Glory series, you'll know the primary commodity that I stress all the way through every part of your Sorare journey is patience. The price you get for a player today is very unlikely going to be a one-off. Players move up and down in the market at such a pace, at such a rate that what might look like a great price today, you might even get a better one tomorrow. And anyone who's joined the platform over the last 3 months will definitely be seeing that live and in person at the moment. Now, when it comes to my club, when it comes to my gallery, and when it comes to evaluating all these kind of situations that might be going on, whether it be in the secondary market, whether it be with the price of Ethereum, or whether it be with the amount of auctions that are coming from Sorare themselves. Like all of you watching this video, whether you're aware of it or not, we all enter into this internal conversation between the director of football, the manager, and the head scout for what is optimal, what is the best moves to be making at this time. Now, those three characters are very often going to be at odds of each other. It's particularly the director of football is the one that's going to be loudest at the moment because of all these moving market forces. Is it exercising caution? We've been overexposed in the market. We've signed Joao Felix from Benfica for 100 million and now we're not playing him. We've signed Ousmane Dembele from Borussia Dortmund for 120 million and the guy's up playing Xbox all night and not turning up to training on time. Or what I think is probably the most common thing that's going through most people's minds is, am I Todd Bowley? Did I just run into the January transfer window and buy Madueke, buy Enzo, buy Felix, buy Badiashile and spend all this money and now I need to worry about FFP, the market's moved, or maybe I spent too much on a French centre-back? Now, depending on what director of football frame of mind you're in, even being aware of that can really clear the path for understanding where your club's at and what positions you might want to make, what sort of trades you might want to look at, whether it be bringing anyone else in or getting people out the door. Because if you've spent too much money on rubbish players, then nothing that Sorare does and nothing that the market's going to do is going to change a rubbish player or a player that doesn't fit your club or a player that doesn't fit your strategy. But if it is more of the kind of Todd Bowley effect where you've kind of ran into the January window, as it were, and just went mad on a mad shopping spree, bought lots of cards, and then in the cold light of day you kind of see the prices have moved against you and you maybe could have went out and got more, in the Sorare terms, more players for your budget, and in the football terms, probably better players for less. I suppose in the Sorare terms, better players for less probably stands as well, actually. Because both those positions are quite different. You know, if you've got players now that you've spent money on that you actually regret doing and they're down in price, that's a very difficult and painful situation to be in. And I always recommend in that situation, just pulling the band-aid off, pull the plaster off, get it done with. You know that gut feeling, and if that's where you're feeling you're at, then, you know, do the best you can to tactically plot out exit points and trades in line with like good fixtures or at points where these guys will come back into demand, whether it be they've got a good L15 situation, maybe they get a good Sorare data valuation, you can take them to Pavel, whatever it is. But again, patience is on your side here. There's very few situations you need to rush out for here, I think. And if it's a case of we could have got more stuff for our money if we're in that Todd Bowley effect, then yeah, even with the cards you've still got, can you still actually take advantage of that? One of the trades I did over the weekend when I seen that Pavel Trader was, you know, dropping his knickers on his super rares and on his big cards, is I ran over and honestly, because of the situation my club's in, my director of football, my talent scout, both went off. The manager was not involved in this conversation at all, but both of them went off and they said, we have been desperate to bring into the club Gabri Vega at a price we find affordable, and Pavel accepted a trade that I was really happy to make. He didn't really negotiate too far with me, and this is a card I don't really need for the manager side of me, for my tactics, for my actual SO5 stuff, but the talent ID in me said that I have to bring this guy in at some point. He's always been on my radar since I've seen him play this season. And the director of football in me, as soon as I seen Pavel was, as I say, out there open to doing favourable trades, and I had a feeling he'd be undervaluing this guy, just took over, and it was go and make this deal happen and go and bring this guy into the club. Now, in plenty of other situations I've been in similar to this, the director of football in me has said something to the opposite effect, but it's like, we should be selling the biggest card we've got right now so that we can take some money off the table, or so that we can reinvest it in other areas. The talent scouts ID'd, he can open up a whole new division for us, he can open up a whole new team for us, or a whole new scarcity with the kind of budget we could raise by selling this big card over here that's still worth a lot and is still thriving in the market despite the other stuff in the club maybe not. Now, when all this kind of market movement stuff is going on, the kind of internal conversations I'm having, that kind of manager, when it is looking at my team, it's looking at my squad, I put a wee tweet out the other day. Honestly, guys, I spent all weekend on Sorare Data, the app, on Lineup Builder, going as far into the future as I possibly could, making lineups, testing out different combinations, testing out different strategies, like what kind of teams can I play, what sort of divisions can I utilise. Now, also the caps are going to change quite a bit, but depending on how much variety you've got in your club, I don't think that's a futile exercise, because, you know, give or take 5 to 6 points, a lot of guys are going to stay in the same kind of realm of where they're at the now. And one thing I realised through doing that is I see a lot of people out there in the social media world talking about how useless some players have become down to the cap modes, and, you know, my club isn't full of studs, but I couldn't disagree more, to be quite honest with you. I'm very happy with the amount of utility I've got for players that weren't getting me very far in a lot of other divisions that I am really attached to and I do really believe in, to playing for this game and in real world football. So the manager in me has kind of went into the calendars, went into the fixture list, seen this roster of players we've got at the moment, and do you know what? I'm really content, you know, and it makes it very easy to look at a Gabri Vega and I think, I don't actually mind bringing that in. It makes it really easy to look at the odds on Edward unique I brought in. Like, I was making lineups and I'm thinking Edward's not even going to get into a lot of my teams over the next month or two, unless he very notably catches on form. He's not a nailed on card for me. But the manager in me can be content with those signings because I'm not desperate for a goalkeeper. I don't need a power forward. I don't need, you know, all these other pieces that make winning teams. I already have them in the club. But the manager and you might be looking at this differently. It might be that we don't have any of these people in. The director of football, Todd Bowley's went and spent, I know he's really the owner of Chelsea, but whatever. He's went and spent all the money and now we've not got the players in. We need to compete at these different levels and whatever. And if the manager's unhappy with where they're at the moment because of the moves in the market, it's understanding why that is. Is it we've tried to be competitive with rares, limiteds, whatever the scarcity is, and, you know, with the budget we had, we knew it was a risk, and now the club's worth less, so now we're even in a weaker position. Then again, it's understanding what the actual thought process, what is the actual worry at hand here, and does it really affect you? Does it really affect your SO5 lineups? Does it really affect the gameplay that you're intending to engage with here? because the manager and everyone in the market at the moment is in a bit of internal turmoil. The amount of divisions, where the prizes are, and the utility that's available, or the lack thereof, may be perceived by some. On some cards, it used to be nailed on for certain divisions. Now they're nowhere to be seen, and maybe vice versa. Is that if that manager in you is trying to pull you towards a strategy change, then you may need to really get the director of football on board to make sure that the trades, the market movements can be made for it, because changing strategy and deploying any kind of strategy is something that's an all or nothing effort. You know, if you're going to lay a strategy out to play Sorare, you're going to target a division or stay within a budget or whatever, then in my experience, the main way it fails is by not following through with it consistently. So is the manager in you actually concerned about any of this market stuff? Does it even change the dynamic of your club and the standing you've got within the leaderboards? It's a very important part of this to understand. And then I think for everyone, the talent scouting is probably going like balubas at the moment, thinking, wow, I could add some serious talent in that a month ago, 2 months ago, for me even longer ago, a year ago or whatever, would have been a long shot, would have been unimaginable maybe in some cases. And now maybe some of these cards are actually within touching distance. And like I mentioned with the Gabri Vega trade I did, that was one that was very firmly, I'd identified. I knew the card, I knew all about it already. I wasn't going out there looking for something to do. I wasn't going out there looking for something to trade. I already know the cards I'm interested in. I already know the players I'm interested in. And then the talent ID in me, the talent scout in me, as it were, is just waiting for what ones ping on the radar. And then if everyone else is in line, can we get them across? But again, equally, the talent scout in you might be furious that you've spent your transfer budget on, you know, a bunch of players are now worth less. You could have got more. You could have got better with that money had you had your time over. And again, if that's the situation where you feel like, wow, if I had my time over again and I could spend that budget again, the talent scout looking at the market really needs to get a firm grasp on what the full rebuild would look like. Because going to the director of football and not being able to follow through on such a seismic change can be even more costly than just staying true to the strategy that's at hand already. So main takeaways from this for me today, guys, in terms of trading in the market when there is a lot of uncertainty, no matter what the market forces are that we're thinking about. Number one top tip, never buy a player you weren't looking at already. The trick I love playing the most, and I would encourage you to endeavour to achieve, is trying to find one man's trash is another man's treasure. Do you have something that you don't really need, don't really want, don't hold as much value with, that subsequently you've got someone else on the other side of the coin that has something they feel the same about, but you couldn't feel any differently about it? Because when things are uncertain, and if people are deciding to move things on or whatever, I've seen some crazy trades getting done. I've seen some cards go for some amazing trades that have made a big difference to lots of Sorare scouts and managers out there that never thought they would have got a card of whatever caliber it is we're thinking of. The number one thing to make sure you do in times like this is write everything down that you're thinking about in terms of your strategy, your plan, your budget, as well as what you're doing on the game. Are you having fun? Are you looking at yield thresholds? Do you want to see your name up at the top of the leaderboards? Do you want to win match day tickets? Do you want to win VIP experiences? Do you want to just engage with world football and be a part of this amazing community here? Because a boat with no rudder goes nowhere in these choppy waters, guys. And if you're out there with no rudder, no direction, you will go nowhere fast. And the number one don't is do not rush into anything. Market prices are changing so much at the moment that going full head over heels into the deep end with a strategy so quickly can be dangerous, because as much as it's very easy to bring cards in at the moment, it's not as easy to get them out. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. I'm really looking forward to reading the comments back. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. About to pop on screen now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.